Welcome back to my channel, you guys. It's me, it's CMZ News, here to give another recap of the Real Housewives. Oh, wow. No, of Vanderpump Rules. Oh, my God. I'm thinking about the Real Housewives because the Real Housewives in New Jersey is on tonight, and I hope to get to it tonight. It's already 9 o'clock here where I am. So we are here to recap part 2 of the explosive Vanderpump Rules reunion. We are almost at the end. Episode 3 is tomorrow. So I know I'm several days late, but guess what? You can watch my recap to kind of refresh if you have not already rewatched the reunion a couple times like I have, especially on Peacock for the extended version with them cursing and all the extra stuff added in it. So let's just get to it though. But before I do that, go ahead, of course, and like, comment, and subscribe. I've really enjoyed, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the reunion. I know some people are like, you know, just ready to get to the third one. We've got this explosive piece of information that's going to happen that no one's going to want to film. There have been so many theories. I am sick of them all. I think I'm going to avoid a lot of social media tomorrow after I get done fighting everybody about Real Housewives of New Jersey, because y'all know I'm a Teresa fan, so I got to fight for my girl. But other than that, let's just get to it, okay? So the reunion literally resumes with everybody yelling. Lala and James are like yelling. They're still yelling at Sandoval. They're telling Lisa that she needs to stop. Lisa's like, I need to stop. They're like, yeah, you're defending Sandoval too much. You need to stop. And Tom is like, no, she's being reasonable. Then James storms off the stage, and then Tom calls Lala a narcissist, and she's like, you know what? I might have an ego the size of this building, but I'm not one. You're a narcissist. And then somehow the word moron gets thrown around. Either she calls him a moron, he calls her a moron. I think he's like, no, you're the moron. No, you're a moron. And then he's like, no, you are a moron. And he's like, you took your IUD out the same day you found out Stassi was pregnant. And he like crosses his leg, right? Now, Lala didn't hear that, okay? If she claims on Instagram that if she would have heard that she would have put pause on him, is what she said. She would have attacked him or something, okay? So everyone has been in an uproar about that. They're like, it's really disgusting to talk about, you know, a woman taking out her IUD. Like, here's the thing. Now, in the sense of like, you're a moron for taking out your IUD just because you found out Stassi's pregnant. There is nothing wrong with friends deciding that they want to have babies all at the same time. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's fantastic. You know, myself and 3 other friends were all pregnant at the same time 6 years ago. And then 2 other friends had had a baby a year ago. So it was really nice, especially because most of us were in our early, like mid to early 30s, and we had spent a lot of time being free, and it was great to go through that phase, all of us together with our kids, and we were all the same type of mom. So it's like, it was such a good experience, right? And all of our kids are about the same age, and we're all experiencing the same thing. So events and holidays are fun. Like, I just went to the Little Mermaid with my girl, my best friend, and my best friends and their little girls and stuff. So nothing wrong with that, right? So that's not, you didn't zinger there, Tom, okay? You have no right to talk about somebody taking out their IUD. She can take out her IUD any darn time she wants. But what I will say, I don't think he was actually talking about that. I think he literally meant, you're a moron for taking out your IUD because you found out Stassi was pregnant when you were dating Randall Emmett, who at the time when you got pregnant with Ocean, even though we didn't know the LA Times article allegations, you did know the type of man he was. Lala can rewrite history all she wants, but she's never going to get away with it with me. I know for a fact she knows that she had a transactional relationship with Randall. Yeah, it probably turned into more. I do think it turned into more. I've listened to her podcast, hate listening to it, but I listened to her podcast with her and Randall when he was on it. And she did, I did think eventually at one point she really liked him, right? But even this week alone, Jax and Brittany have talked about it. Sheena has talked about it. Lala was even on Sheena's podcast. They've talked about, especially after the Randall scandal, the Hulu documentary came out, they've talked about how Randall treated people, and particularly his assistants. Lala even has said, oh, he went through so many assistants, right? Sheena mentioned that she saw him go crazy on an assistant. Brittany and Jax talked about how they went to Vegas, and I guess wherever they were staying, Randall's assistant's dog couldn't stay at the hotel. So instead of Randall letting his assistant go home or go somewhere else, whatever the case may be, Randall made his assistant sleep in the car with the dog. So if Brittany and Jax were aware of that, Sheena's seen him go off. Lala 1,000% at the very least has seen this man talk disrespectfully to people, to assistants. He constantly was losing assistants. Lala talked about all the assistants numbers that she had in her phone. You knew the kind of guy he was. You knew how you got with him. You knew you got PJs for BJs and, Range Rovers and all the stuff you did, okay? And now, no, I think that's what Tom meant, okay? So with that, we actually go ahead and get into a little deeper of a Randall discussion. And what's his name? Andy asked her, look, when's the last time you saw Randall? By this time, James comes back to the seat. She's discussed that she saw him recently because the nanny was sick and they had to do the drop off and everything. And she didn't talk to him. She just grabbed the baby from him. They talked about the LA Times article and that she didn't know the full extent of it. And that she claims that, I was from Utah. I didn't even know the casting couch existed. Now, James tried to get her right there. He was like, I knew that existed since 8 years old. Don't play us, Lala. You knew the daggone casting couch existed. Everybody has heard of the casting couch. You've seen it even if you've watched an old movie. And if you didn't know the casting couch existed, your mom knew the casting couch existed. Which is why Lisa Vanderpump asked you, what did your mother say? But you don't want to take any accountability for anything, which is why I feel like it's really rich coming from her calling someone a narcissist, because I feel like a lot of ways she behaves in that way. It's everyone else's fault. It's everyone else but her. She does not take accountability for certain things. And, people could say I'm victim blaming her, whatever. I don't know, whatever. I feel like I'm just really irritated that she doesn't keep it real, because I think she has a true lesson to share, but she's rewritten it to where she's just completely rid of blame. She's completely innocent. She had no idea the type of man she was having a baby with. She had no clue. She didn't know anything until the minute, he cheated. And then all of a sudden the floodgates open. Come on. So Andy gets into how they met. She says she was hosting. He asked if she had a manager. He sent one of his random assistants over. She auditioned for him. Surprise, surprise. Got the role. Says she did not sleep with him that night, although she brags about the first night I slept with him, I got a Range Rover the next day with Stassi when they went to go get their hair done. But she mentions that it wasn't the first night, it was later. She tells Andy that no, she doesn't feel that she needed to sleep with him in order to get roles. And maybe she didn't feel that way, but I will say that literally the only movies she's been in are his. She does have modeling credits and stuff before that, but she hasn't been in anything else except for the Randall Emmett films, okay? She did say that now she sees red flags, she's sober. I do have to say that she's been sober for 4.5 years, and maybe a lot of the things that she did witness in Randall's relationship, she didn't, in her relationship with Randall, she didn't really catch it all as quickly because she wasn't sober for a majority of that relationship. I think they were together 6 years or something. And then they've been broken up for 2. So she was only sober for 2 of those years. So she probably had to put a lot of pieces together in her head, right? They end up taking lunch. The cast eats. Tom goes to Raquel's trailer and they discuss how rough it's been. And it has been rough. They've run Tom's ass, rightfully so, through the ringer. And Raquel's like, hey, they hug each other. There's, they're still very, in my opinion, hyper aware of cameras. Also, I want to point out, these are people who've worked with them for a lot of time. So, let's just say production really didn't know. It's probably a little embarrassing for Tom to, be around these production guys who knew him in this relationship with Ariana, who probably really love Ariana. And now they're literally seeing him with Raquel. It would be really hard for me to, I'm going to be straight up. It'd be hard for me to be professional. Now I would do it for my job, but I would be side-eyeing. I would be so short with them. Yeah, you ready? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's lunchtime. I'd be like, look what you did. I would be so mad. But Raquel's they're trying to make us out to be these liars. And Tom's yeah, Lala's calling me a narcissist. She doesn't care about either one of us. And, da-da-da. And I do think that she doesn't care about either one of them. And I don't even know if I think she cares 100% that much about Ariana. I think she really is so in her feelings about what she's been through that she just needs to rage, and she can't do this with Randall. So she's got Tom as her. And I cannot wait for her to actually light into Raquel. I really wish it was Ariana giving it to them like this, but Ariana does, have some rage in her too. But they basically say, Raquel's like, we haven't lied about anything but this affair. Raquel, you've lied about a lot of things. If you're lying about affair and you're lying to friends, to their face, you're lying to Sheena, you're lying to production, you're lying to everybody, you're lying to family. You've lied about everything. You lie about where you are. You lie about what you're doing last night. Your whole day is a lie. Like she says something about, she goes, well, in those clips, it like really looks like that, like she really thinks that, she's talking about Ariana. She's like, it really seemed like she really wanted to like be in a relationship with you. Yes, Raquel. And I'm just wondering, like, because they were so close, maybe her and Tom obviously did a lot of sneaking behind the back, right? But she also hung out with Tom a lot in front of Ariana. You didn't have to wait for filming of the show to ask Ariana, like, yo, what's the state of your relationship? You probably saw a lot of the state of their relationship. I will say that Tom probably didn't show a lot of affection in front of Raquel towards Ariana, but I also think that Tom and Ariana probably weren't that affectionate in general. Maybe when they're drinking more, and then we know for sure when the cameras turned on, they turned it up. That's been confirmed. So Raquel says something about like, yeah, this summer I really had just like an awakening, and like the pendulum like swung too far, and it's just like she's kind of just yada-yadaing this, like, yeah, I really kind of got crazy this summer, being my best friends, man. Things just got a little wild. Like, something is not right. Like, I'm not going to call her D and S, but like, I don't, like, it's beyond no one home. There's like, it's crazy, right? So now they're still on break. They're eating, they flash to the other cast, they're eating, looks like Mediterranean or Indian. I'm a foodie, so it looks pretty good. Sheena has to go to her trailer because, she can't film at Raquel, honey, so she's going to be leaving soon. Now, Tom actually throws a fit because he wants to talk to the rat, aka Rachel, aka Raquel, alone, but they won't let him. And I kind of loved it. Production's like, but you're on a break. Yeah, you guys can talk. Yeah, no, but the cameras are here. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, Tom, we just can't do it. Tom's like, legally, I have to have my 15-minute break. They're like, you're getting a break, Tom. Like, you want to go get some food? Craft services is here. They're literally not letting this fool have his time to continue to coach the rat because he needs to get some things straight, because he knows that, and he tells her, Ariana's going to light into your ass. She's going to get it. And he's not going to be able to really defend her that much because remember, he's got to be on camera. He's got to kind of toe the line and act like he's still, he's just kind of like, I don't know. I think maybe like it probably is going to be a little weird for him, honestly, to defend his affair partner in front of his partner of 9 years. That would have to be crazy to do that, So they're back from lunch. Allie comes out. She admits that she's watched VPR during COVID. She complains that nothing from James's past scared her that much. Now, my overall opinion of Allie, she and James got together 6 weeks after, my daughter's coming out. No, 6 weeks after he broke up with Raquel. They planned to take things slow, but they didn't. Andy brings up what Raquel said in the car ride from Havasu about like James calling Raquel's mom fat and stuff. And like James talks about how Raquel's mom would be inappropriate about his peeper. And Sandoval also said that James called his mom fat. That was one of the first things he said. And Ollie's like, well, it's never okay to say the word fat, and I don't like that. And I'm like, James has to stop calling people fat. He literally called Schwartz fat at the reunion. He even told Sandoval at the reunion, not the reunion, in the beach day. He even told Sandoval that, like, I'm way more ripped than you. I'll you up and all this stuff. Like, James is petty. He's gonna go for weight. He's gonna talk about all those things. And Allie also claimed, because what's his name? Andy was like, did you ever feel like anything about James's reaction, like jealous or upset? And she's like, I never felt that once. Like, the way she says it, I'm just like, okay. And Andy was like, okay. Like, he caught the tude. Listen, I wish she would have been like, yeah, to me, that's a normal reaction. Like, yeah, I thought a little bit like, are you not over her? But I do think James is over her. I really do think James is really hurt with the men and James Schwartz Tom. James has tried really hard to get in this group and be in this group and be on the show and have the fame. Lisa even brought out that he banged Kristen to be on the show, which is true. And so, you know, when Jax was on the show and Jax was the number one guy in this group, Jax wasn't effing with James, you know? So, they talk about how they're taking a break on drinking. Lisa agrees that Allie has been good for James and that James doesn't work for Lisa anymore. So she's not like here to comment on his drinking and stuff like that. And, you know, they take breaks from drinking sometimes, but James has grown. Allie's not worried right now about his drinking. I don't think Allie's worried about his drinking because she doesn't really plan on being with James long, because Allie is just on the show for fame, as far as I'm concerned, because she met him just like a fangirl, as far as I'm concerned. The cast seems to like Allie. Like, I think she's very beautiful, in like a soap opera way. Like, she looks like a soap opera. Like, she looks like she'd be on literally like All My Children or something to me. But I feel no heat off of her. I don't think this is like genuine. James also bought a house, which is great. Now, they talk about James drinking a little bit more, and they chime in about an experience in Atlantic City where like they were all drinking, but James got like belligerent, like almost got kicked out and like slapped like a waitress's butt. Lala does chime in and tells both of the Toms, which is great, that they both drink so much. First of all, that whole group does, but the Toms drink so much, and she just doesn't think they need to talk about anybody's drinking. And then James storms off again, starts cursing, and yeah. Now we get into a little bit of Tom and Katie about them arguing at the wedding about like Brock and, you know, just not being that close and kind of putting Brock's feelings over Katie's and stuff. I think it's sad because if this scandal hadn't happened, we would have really, Schwartz and Katie breaking up was huge. And it really deserved a lot more attention. And actually the shitty person that Schwartz is really deserves to be highlighted more. And even now, I'm really disappointed to see that, like, he's going to be on Jax's podcast tomorrow. The cast is so friendly with him. And, sorry, my phone. The cast is so friendly with him. And it's like, why are you guys still giving him a chance? He knew. I don't care what this fool says. He's known as long as Tom has been banging Raquel. He didn't just find out in January. He didn't just find out, like, he's known. He's covered for Tom. He's done it the whole relationship. I won't say that it's necessarily his responsibility to tell on his best friend, but I think he had a responsibility to like encourage his best friend. Hey, if you don't tell Ariana by this date, I'm going to say something. And they're going to forgive Schwartz, and he gets away with everything. He gets away with hurting Katie. He gets away with it. He's a drunk. He's a loser. And for people to think, oh, he needs to get away from Sandoval and he'll be okay. That is the love of his life. He's never turning against his best friend Sandoval. Like, you give him too much credit thinking he'll be a better person. Schwartz turns like that. He is abusive to women the way he speaks. He is not a good guy. Okay? I'm fired up this podcast. I don't know what this is. Listen, let's get into the TRO, okay? I don't want this video to be too long. I will say that Lala does say that, you know, because Allie says that maybe she should have told the girls who kept like talking to her about James, like, listen, like, mind your business. But I think it was nice that, I think it showed that, like, whatever her name is could be like mature, because, you know, she's playing the long haul. She's playing for the show. And Lala says, you know, she just wanted to protect her because of what she's been through. We get to the TRO and Sheena and the punch. Sheena shuts Andy down real quick. I can't talk about it. I can't discuss it. All the girls say that Sheena never says she punched her. Tom doubles down. He's like, I heard you say I punched that bitch. Now, Tom won't answer what he thinks because he's like, I don't want to ruin my relationship with Sheena, to which Ariana pipes the hell up and is like, you have no relationship with Sheena. Your friendship is done. And Sheena yells at him to shut the F up. Sheena admits that she will never be friends with Raquel again. Andy says that Tom and Raquel think that Sheena knew something was up. She says, now here's where things get a little sticky, okay? Gosh, this is where things are going to get a little long-winded. I guess, you know, Lala put some ideas in Sheena's head about Tom and Raquel. Sheena goes to Ariana off camera, has lunch with her, talks to her about her concerns. Ariana shuts it down. Ariana appreciated that. and didn't believe that either of them would do it. Tom also at this point denies that he ever put any idea about an open relationship rumor out there. They argue because they say that Raquel claims that he, in the bathtub, or where were they, a hot tub in Coachella, that he put it out there, and he's like, I never said that, and they start arguing about that. Okay. Now, Ariana doubles down that she doesn't think she had issues about Tom. She says that everything we saw was real, that she talked about, her intimacy issues, her anxiety, her depression, her ex-boyfriend who was abusive, her coming out the closet, being bisexual, and all that stuff. And Tom disagrees. He's like, it was years of us not talking about real problems. We would argue on camera, and then it'd be like, honey, I'm home, and we would be fake. And they kind of argue about like who kind of controlled, what could be said. He's like, no, Ariana was real strict about this. Ariana was like, this is not a safe space. These girls are not my friends. And to be honest with you, that I do believe Tom in that, because talking about depression, intimacy, feeling fat, whatever, that's not the same as talking about your actual problems with your boyfriend on this show. We have seen many of these. We've seen Sheena have addiction issues Shay, her ex-husband, have addiction issues. She's had to talk about Brock's past issues with his ex-wife. Lala being accused of being a mistress and all this stuff. Katie and all of her issues with Schwartz and his cheating. Brittany getting cheated on by Jax. Kristen, we've seen all of her ish there, okay? Tom and Ariana, can you tell me anything about their relationship? Any problems they've had? I mean, I will say they've discussed the kids thing, but that's been very open. She doesn't want them. He did, supposedly. And eventually she went ahead and was freezing eggs to make that a reality for them one day. She didn't physically want to be pregnant, but she was essentially open to being a mother. Or, I don't know, Tom being a father, and her, I don't know what the role, how that was going to play out. But with that said, I do believe that she wasn't truthful there. I don't think talking about insecurities is the same thing as being open about your relationship. And most of this show, these girls have not always liked Ariana. Ariana came on as Sheena's best friend. Ariana came on as the cheating partner to Kristen. So I think the girls really did have something against her. And also remember, when Lala first came on the show, Tom and Ariana were the only ones who were actually friendly with Lala. This is season 4, when they went camping and all this stuff, or when they were supposed to go to the RV and all this, like an RV park. Was it season 4, 5, or 6? Anyways, Lala always held a grudge, I think, against Ariana for making comments about how when she lost her dad, when Ariana lost her dad, she had to get over it. But Lala lost her dad and wants everyone to just, like, I guess, mourn with her. And I can't speak on that. I haven't lost a parent. But I feel like Lala has had issues with her for that. Ariana and Tom were never included in any of the fabulous outings that Randall Emmett was taking all the cast on. Even freaking Chris and Dodie got to do stuff like that. They weren't invited to all those things. So, or the one time they did, and was the whole issue of like, did they have to sign the NDA? Did they not sign the NDA? And all that foolishness. You remember all that? So I don't think the girls were a safe space for Ariana, because there were plenty of, like when Stassi was on there, Ariana never really liked Stassi because Stassi didn't like Tom. And a lot of the girls didn't like Tom. Most of them didn't like Tom, with the exception of Sheena. Even Sheena called her mom on about him. With that said, I believe that. I don't think she wanted to talk about their problems on camera. I don't think she wanted to talk about the problems about the girls. Now, they began to argue, and Tom is trying to say, you call me stupid and this and that. And Ariana's like, you will never get anything nicer from me ever again. Like, I'm always going to like mistreat you and talk ish to you. They begin to get into it really good. They talk about some tactics that they would use to argue and who taught each other who. Tom calls her an MFer. I think in that moment, they were arguing so fiercely with each other. And it was just like, there was no tears. It was cursing. It was word cutting. I mean, he showed more anger. He showed anger in that moment. Ariana showed more anger than tear. Sheena's been more tearful than her, honestly, to this point, right? That's the real them. That is the real them. I think that Tom has felt extremely insecure against many other women on this show. I think that he wants to be the smartest person in the room, but he's not always. And a lot of these women are sharper than him, quicker than him, wittier than him. If you think about it, like, I don't even remember Tom Sandoval really even smiling on the show a lot. He's always, the only time he really exudes anything is when he's being extra when he's dancing or singing or whatever the hell may be. So I think that was the real them. I think that that's how they argued. I think that's how they communicated. And I think, unfortunately, you know, Tom might have had a case about a lot of things in their relationship, but because he chose her friend, none of it matters because, bruh, you didn't handle this right. You should have ended the relationship. You chose to her friend behind her back for all these months. So you like literally deserved, I'm sorry, the way she like treated you, whatever. Andy gives Sheena some little paperwork from Raquel to dismiss the restraining order, supposedly. And Sheena breaks down. You know, this whole thing is taking a toll of her. She's like, you know, aside from the betrayal and losing two of my best friends, she's like, I did nothing but take Raquel in. I was the sister to her she didn't have. Like, I let her live with me. She was like, I begged her to never do anything to take her away from me. She was like, you know, when I confronted her about this rumor, I'm like, you're better than this. I know you would never do this. So Raquel is like lying to this girl's face. No, I would never. Oh my God, no. And Sheena's like, she loved her so much. If you watch Sheena's blog, go back and watch it. She was there all the time. And so, you know, Sheena really has lost somebody in this. And I feel like if anybody thinks that like Sheena's making it about her, what she tends to do a lot of times, literally the girl lost her shit. I don't know if Sheena hit her. In my head, Sheena beat that. She dog walked her, talking about she can't make a fist. Honey, look, I just, Rachel, I just beat Rachel's ass right now myself, okay? She can make a fist. But we're going to go ahead and go with her story that she didn't hit her and that Rachel, you know, is abusing the system, okay? And if she did hit you, Rachel, you should have took it because you just, whatever. Then they pan to Rachel. You know, Sheena is like crying. And this is Rachel. Emotionless. Like, emotionless. Nothing. Sheena even admits that she trusted her so much that she slept in the bed when I guess they were in Vegas, and Raquel's like, I'm scared, can I sleep with you? And she was like, of course. And Sheena slept in the middle, but Raquel shared a bed with them, and that's so inappropriate. And you know, Sheena did say she asked Brock if anything ever happened. She says she asked Brock if Rachel ever made a pass at him, and he said no, but I also never gave out that vibe. Now, before Sheena leaves, she does give Andy her album because years ago he said, Sheena, if you keep putting out singles, you're gonna have like another 10 years, you're gonna have an album. So she gave an album. It was good as gold, and it was super cute. Now back to the sit down with Rachel, okay? And because they're going a little back and forth, and Rachel is looking staged as hell, and she's like, well, he's like, how did it start? Well, we've been friends forever, and it started to get romantic after the girls trip I went on. She kind of like says it like that. She goes, you know, I felt really seen, I felt heard, and she envisioned that this would work out by Tom breaking up with Ariana, and then they would just start dating. And she was like, I think I was living in my own reality with that. She also said before that scene with Sheena that like, I think I should have like written Sheena a handwritten letter. It's all starting to make sense now. Like I should have just like, maybe like, yeah, it's all starting to hit me. Like, I don't know. Andy commented how it was incredible how many signs that Ariana ignored and Ariana trusted them. And Raquel says that, you know, she thinks she was in denial. She was like, she never pressed me. She never confronted me about anything. She was like, or questioned him 2 months. And it was just like, she looked really irritated that Ariana never questioned her or never figured it out sooner. She was like, we almost just thought like maybe she didn't want to know. But now I know that she really did want to know. And I feel really ashamed about that. Really? So you didn't feel really ashamed when you're talking to this girl and you're banging her man and you're like, doing all this and that? Like, no. She sounded really coached. She admits that she does want to come back to the show. Don't know why. And she's scared to face Ariana at the reunion. And she's preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Crazy. So, we do get like 1 second of Raquel coming out. She's like fixing her dress. Schwartz pops some Xanax. It was really wild. And Sheena is now in her trailer and drinking a White Claw. I think Raquel is just emotionally distracted and just out of touch and just doesn't care. The only time this girl has cried is when she's cried about her pageantries. She's listening to Sheena, who's someone she spent years with, cry. I mean, she wasn't even welling up in her eyes, just watching. Like, I don't understand. Like, she feels no remorse, which is why I absolutely cannot get on train with her being manipulated or anything else by this guy. I mean, I think if you're having an affair, of course, there's a form of manipulation and lying that happens to you. And you manipulate and lie to yourself to make it okay. You have to. But there's just something, there's a sensitivity chip. Like she doesn't even have the like, well, bitch, you weren't taking care of your man. So I had like, she don't even have that. It's just like, yeah, I just don't know why she didn't even, it's bizarre. I will save my opinions for what Ariana was thinking and why she didn't kind of question more for later. I want to get through the third one. I don't think that this announcement is going to be anything crazy, guys. It's been discussed too much in ad nauseum. I think it's going to be a big letdown. I think it's going to be, if anything, it's just going to be that the affair's been going on longer than we thought it was. And that at this point, I don't think that'd be any shock to anybody. My guess is that it did start in Coachella. People think it started after her engagement to James. I really don't. Or it started like when she broke off the engagement to James. I really don't think that. I don't know. But we'll find out. I cannot wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is also my 9-year wedding anniversary. Woo! But I'm like, babe, so we're celebrating on the weekend, right? Because it's like school night and we're still like working. So yeah, I'll be watching, hopefully I'll still be watching Vanderpump Rules, or we'll be watching it together, and that'll be our anniversary evening. So I don't know. I've been watching it with my neighbor. Hey, Michelle, if you're watching, and it's been so much fun. But if I don't get to watch it with her tomorrow, I'm definitely going to go and like rewatch the, like the replay of it again with her. So leave a comment down below. This was fun. I enjoyed recapping this one better than I did last one. I don't know. I feel like I had more to say about this one. So let me know what you think. Until later. Bye.